Hi, I'm Cassie Reesner, and this is my lab on Miss Pale. So these were her normal grabs for the vaginal firing and the sympathetic nervous activity. And these were her when she was dizzy. There wasn't too much of a change in either, or if at all. So I don't think this was really any indication of what cancer could be. This is the graph for the mean arterial pressure. The green indicates her normally, and the orange is when she's dizzy. The arterial pressure is the pressure of the arteries that delivers the blood throughout your body and the force exerted by the blood on the arterial wall. And if you see in this graph here, when she was dizzy, it dropped quite a bit and it didn't really go up much, it just plateaued. And then this is her heart rate. The purple is her normal heart rate, and then the orange is when she's dizzy. So when she stood up, her heart rate increased quite a bit over her normal one. I've actually passed out before, and my heart rate did increase a lot as well. So from what they checked on me was to see if I had any heart arrhythmias. So I think this is one thing we should check in the later symptoms. And this is her brain blood flow. The orange is the normal one, and the green is when she's dizzy. This one didn't change a whole bunch. It dropped maybe a little bit more when she's dizzy. But if you see here, she started higher than when she was dizzy. And then the brain flow is how much, like, obviously how much blood goes to her brain. So usually when this drops, it's because her blood pressure drops. Some signs and symptoms that could have been measured for her for this. I think a good one, what they almost did to me, was a heart monitor, because to see if she has any arrhythmias, like when she works out or if she stands up too fast, or even like a blood pressure, because blood pressure is another way of why, or another reason why people end up passing out. But I think a heart monitor would be good, just to rule out any like heart conditions that you didn't know you had. I think also by asking like the patient like how she felt before she passed out, if she can remember. I know memory loss can be something that they can't remember exactly how they felt. So I would say if they felt like dizzy before, if they're nauseous before, or if it was just like all after. And things people like end up checking is like the color of their skin, because I got told I was like really pale when I did it. So when I start to feel like dizzy, I start to like look more pale. Or like if the patient remembered like her ears ringing or everything going numb or like her vision blurred. So I think those are like things you could ask to look for. One treatment I thought of out of the four was epinephrine, and this helps with your fight or flight response. This increases your blood pressure and maintains good blood flow. And I thought this would be a good idea because typically sometimes when blood pressure drops, you get weak, or some people end up like fainting. And I thought this was pretty effective. I didn't want to increase the dose too much because the max dose, I don't want the blood pressure to be like super high where they feel like off. The next one I thought was, what was it? The bolus. And this helps with low blood pressure. I thought I should choose this because people tend to pass out, obviously, of low blood pressure. So I thought it might like increase it. So maybe you wouldn't have as much symptoms or end up passing out. But when I put this in like the graphs, I didn't think it worked as well. I noticed more of a drastic change with the graph. Like right when she stood up, it was more drastic of a drop or of an increase. So I wouldn't want to do this. Even when I upped the dose, it still was a pretty drastic drop. And even when I'd had it as the lower dose. And that was all.